I'm Max, this is One and Done, the show where I teach you how to make just one of something. Today we're gonna do an individual lasagna. Normally, obviously, you make a giant tray of lasagna, but what if you're alone? What if you're just sitting there by yourself and you just want a really delicious lasagna? I'm gonna show you how to make it right now. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is make a sofrito, or basically like a mirepoix situation. So we got some carrots, some celery, some onion, and we're just gonna throw it in the food processor and give it a good blitz. You can do this by hand, but it just makes it a lot easier. There you go, you got your mirepoix, your sofrito, whatever you want to call it. Carrots, onion, celery, blitzed up. Now we're gonna go ahead and make the ragu. I'm just gonna go in with some nice olive oil here. We're gonna heat that up a little bit. Then we're gonna saute our sofrito. Give it a nice pinch of salt and some fresh black pepper. Now just cook this down until you get a lot of the moisture out of there. All right, so our veg is soft. We're gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of tomato paste here. We're just gonna cook this out. You always wanna cook out tomato paste to kind of mellow out the flavor. You want it to get a really nice brick red color. The sofrito's looking good here. You can see that. It's about the color we want. Now we're gonna go ahead and go in with a bit of ground beef here. And I'm gonna do a little Italian sausage here. I think a good beef pork mix usually is the way to go when you're doing sort of a meat sauce or meatballs. Veal would be great in here too, but if all you got is ground beef or all you got is pork, I mean, you know, go for it. Grate in a little bit of fresh garlic. You don't want to do this too early on because the garlic can burn really easily, but at this stage, should be just about good enough to where it'll bring some nice flavor right before we add in the tomatoes and we won't burn the garlic. All right, so I was gonna throw the tomatoes in there, but then I realized I have this box of wine left over from the holidays, so I'm gonna do a little splash of red wine in here. You can do white wine. That's just gonna add a little bit more flavor, totally optional. We're just gonna reduce this down until all the alcohol is evaporated from it. So the wine is reduced down, all the alcohol is burned off. You're not gonna get drunk from this sauce, don't worry. We're gonna go in with about a cup of whole peeled tomatoes. You can just use tomato puree, whatever you like. I really like San Marzano tomatoes, so that's what I'm gonna use. We're just gonna go right on in. You can use like a mashed potato crusher to smash these. I'm just gonna go ahead and chop them up. As they sit in here, they'll sort of cook and soften and break down anyway. We're gonna let this sit on the back burner for about an hour. But you could really do this, I mean, ideally, you know, let it simmer for like 3 hours. But we don't have that kind of time today, so an hour should do, and this is a smaller batch anyway, so it should be okay. It's still gonna be delicious. Make sure you get that little bit of tomato sauce out of there. Right in, and we'll go in with another good pinch of salt. We want to kind of salt along the way since this is such a layered kind of recipe. Our ragu's been cooking for about an hour and a half. We're gonna kick on the oven here to about 350 degrees. Now we're gonna go ahead and make our bechamel. So I'm gonna go in with a couple tablespoons of butter, and then I'll go in with equal parts flour. And then we're just gonna slowly stream in about a cup and a quarter of just warm whole milk. A good way to check is to see if it coats the back of a spoon. Just like that. All right, now into our bechamel, we're just gonna go with a nice pinch of salt and some freshly grated nutmeg here. There you go, you got your bechamel sauce. Now back here, I got a big pot of water. Just gonna get that to a rolling boil, and I'm gonna go in with a big pinch of salt. Once that's boiling, we'll go ahead and go in with our pre-made lasagna. I'm not gonna make pasta from scratch because I know nobody else is gonna do it, so we're just gonna go with this easy stuff, pop it in there for about 11 minutes, and you're good to go. Our noodles are done here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw them into an ice bath to stop the cooking. Just wanna cool these down so they don't get all mushy. Bad boys are nice and cooled off, so we're just gonna lay them out onto a nice clean towel and dry them off. It's time to assemble. So get yourself some sort of dish. This is like a nice perfect square, I think, for something like lasagna. You could use a little circular ramekin like this and a little hole punch and just kind of like cut out little sheets. But since I have this guy, I'm gonna use it. Feel free to use whatever you want as long as it's an oven safe dish. So the first thing we're gonna do is just grease this guy up a little bit. Make sure you get it nice and covered so it doesn't stick. Now we're gonna start with a layer of our meat sauce here. So that goes down. And now we'll take a sheet of pasta and just use some kitchen shears. Cut it right in half, or a knife. Just lay down our noodles. More meat. Make sure you taste this for seasoning, by the way. Now we go in with our bechamel. And then between each layer, you gotta have a whole bunch of Parmesan cheese. So we'll grate a bunch in there. And on to the next layer. This final layer here. If you got extra ragu, finish that off on top. But this looks perfect to me, so I'm gonna cover this with tin foil, and we're just gonna throw this in the oven for about 20 minutes until it's cooked through, and then we're gonna put some mozzarella on top for the last 10 minutes uncovered, and it's gonna be perfect, delicious. We're gonna look for those crispy edges and some nice caramelized cheese on top, and it should be amazing. So I cooked it at 375 for about another 10 minutes, and then I threw it in another broiler for about 2 minutes, and now it's looking really good. Check this out. Whew. Now that's a lasagna. It's looking delicious. We're just gonna let it rest for a few minutes, let it cool down, and give it a try. Wish me luck. Look at that! A little more parm, a little parsley. You can use a little fresh basil if you want. Just a little green adds a nice touch. There's only one thing left to do, and that's try this bad boy, so let's give it a shot here. I know this is gonna be good. You gotta get the crunchy bits, that's the best on the edge there. I mean, it's just delicious. This is lasagna, how can you go wrong? You can do this a variety of ways. You could do like ricotta or basil or whatever you want, but I like it kind of simple. This is the way to go. Hope you like it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Food 52 YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, TikTok at Chill Guy in Brooklyn. Thanks for watching.